How would you like to see a day in the life of a United States Marine and get a glimpse of the exotic Middle East? From the parade decks of Paris Islands and the harsh training grounds of California Mojave Desert, you get a first-hand look at the life of an infantry machine gunner while deployed overseas. Today's guest will talk about this and other unique experiences which he encountered during his years in the military. The Humanities Community Arts Department at Noel Community College presents The New Directors, the show that introduces you to television future writers, directors, and personalities. Now you join our host Connor Sherman to meet the new director.
Thank you for joining us for today's edition of The New Directors. All of the people involved with this program are students in the television production course and are directing, switching, controlling audio, operating cameras, and acting as talent for the first time today. The guest you are about to meet is a student who, when not on camera, is behind the scenes working hard to bring this program to you with as few mistakes as possible. Each student will write and direct 4 different productions. This program will give them the chance to talk about themselves, the productions they have completed, and give you the chance to get to know them and watch their progress throughout the semester. Our guest today is a person who is an NCC student in the film and TV production course and a former U.S. Marine who served overseas in both Iraq and Afghanistan during his 6 years in the military. Now I would like you to meet our guest today, Michael Long.
Thank you.
So Michael, we know that you were in the military. Can you tell us a little more about it?
Absolutely. Let's see, I joined the military back when I was 19 years old, and it's kind of a family tradition with my family because both my father and my brothers were in the Marine Corps as well. And it was just a big life decision. And so I spent 6 years in the military. I was an infantry machine gunner. Right now you can see some footage of me actually overseas in Iraq in the turret of one of the Humvees.
Oh.
So this is just some guys filling up sandbags. We're trying to reinforce our position. We took over an old train station. So this is a training exercise out in California. So we're just running through a few exercises. This is, we actually went out to investigate a sand quarry, which I know sounds kind of strange because we're in the middle of the desert. But yep. This is on a helicopter over Helmand Province in Afghanistan.
Is that a helmet camera?
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
So this is us being chased by dogs out in the middle of the desert. So not exactly exciting, but that is a goat that somehow got onto a giant 10-foot wall. That's me in the turret, trying not to die from sand. That's another training exercise in California. It's Gunnery Sergeant Hannah. This is just some guys blowing off steam. Sometimes we just go out in the desert and, you know, wrestle, relax. Ooh. This is an oasis, actually. I know you saw some of the other videos. It was just a lot of empty desert, and this is my niece that I'm playing with when I'm on leave before going back overseas. This is us in the trucks doing another training exercise out in California. And this is a shot of the city of Marja in Afghanistan, which was actually a U.S. project back in the 60s that we built. So,
what are some of the most useful things you have learned in this TV production course?
I'd say some of the most useful things have been the technical side of the camera as far as what controls exposure for the aperture, the shutter speed, the ISO. Learning the technical side of things really helped me bring out the creative side because it helped me know how to get what I wanted when I went to shoot. So it's probably one of the most important things.
Yeah. Tell us about the productions you created for the TV1 class, the Learning Project, the Action Sequence, and the Fall Foliage Project.
Well, the first sequence that I'm going to talk about is the Learning Sequence, which is a shot of somebody buying a candy bar from a vending machine. And this was really my first attempt at telling a story because it was my first time using storyboard, script, shot list, location sketches, working with the 180 reline. It was all trying to put together the basics and how they all fit together. So let's see how it turns out.
Well, how do you think it turned out?
Pretty good.
Oh, Snickers.
Snickers. Next up was our action sequence, and this was a chance for me to do a lot more work with the 180-degree line, cutting on the action, really another emphasis on the whole pre-planning process, get everything done so that when you came to class you could finish your project within the 20 or 30 minutes that you had between sharing cameras with other students. So this was just, I guess, a way for me to further refine what I learned in the first project.
Is that the same Snickers?
That is not the same Snickers, but this is a nature project, which for me was a lot different than the first two projects just because of structure. So as opposed to making a shot list and a storyboard and all that stuff, I just go for a walk in the woods and I know kind of what I'm looking for, but it's very open, it's a lot more flexible. The downside to that can be when you go to edit, it's a little harder to put together what you want. There's not as much structure, you have to be more creative. But definitely, probably more relaxing.
Now, is that coloring on all of the videos? Is that your effect?
Yeah, that's just a little basic color correction with the contrast and the white balance.
Oh, cool.
So,
all right, well, I know you had one project that you felt was your absolute best. Please tell us about it while we watch
absolutely.
the sample.
I'd have to say that my favorite project was the action sequence, just because it gave me a chance to add more emotion. I got to, because I couldn't use dialogue, I had to communicate what the actors were saying with facial expressions. So that was a little fun, and maybe a little over-exaggerated, but I got the point across. Next, I used music to try and set a mood and further communicate what the actors were feeling. And more along the lines of just refining what I learned in the first two projects, working with 180-degree line, and to some extent coaching with actors, though it was very mild because there wasn't a lot of dialogue. But I also used a lot with angles because I wanted to try and create an emphasis on certain characters as far as being in positions of authority or being in positions of subordination, which we'll see in just a second.
Such as there.
Yep, such as right there.
You mentioned the variety of things you have learned in this course. What was the most interesting and important skill you learned, and how will you put it to use?
I would have to say that the most important and interesting skill that I learned in the class would be the live directing. Even though I don't want to be a live director as a career choice, I want to be a director in feature-length films. I feel like there's certain skill sets that carry over very well, especially being able to get what you want the first time with the pressure of live directing, having to make everything count the first time, and also the ability to multitask all those moving parts that are happening in the back. Even if you're not going to be a live director, those are skill sets that'll help you in pretty much any career that you go into.
Yeah, that's true. Well, today we got to meet someone who shared with us his experiences in the Middle East during his time in the military. As a new director, he hopes to apply what he has learned in this course in order to further pursue a career in filmmaking. I would like to thank our guest, Michael, for joining us today.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We hope you enjoyed the meeting one of television's directors, and we hope you will continue to join us each week to watch our progress. Thank you, and good day.
This has been The New Directors, with your host, Connor Shermans, directed by Jessica Myers. I'm your announcer,